There have been many distinct bands throughout the Five Nights at Freddy's series. The classics, the toys, the fun times, the glam rocks, and all of them are beloved for one reason or another. But between the beloved bands, we find the odd case of one largely ignored by time, the Rockstar animatronics. Characters on the surface who seem perfectly serviceable but get much less attention than all the others, and there may be a good reason why. The Rockstar Band consists of 4 members, a questionable 5th, and a possible 6th added quite a few games later. Their design seems to take direct inspiration from the toys and possibly the fun times, with rosy cheeks, sturdy suited bodies, and separate mouths held on by metal posts. And Chica even has the familiar dotted lipstick you might recognize on some of the older models. These are colorful, clean, updated versions of the classic cast, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. While it's never stated in-game, this is likely on purpose, as those behind the creation of this pizzeria considered it the last hurrah of Freddy's. It was built to be the final Freddy's. And as such, it made sense to bring back the original cast, not as how they were, but as how they were remembered by the children who actually did manage to survive past visiting Freddy's, as bright, cutesy mascots who stood up on stage, pretended to play instruments, and weren't oozing corpse wax out of their cracks. And in that way, the Rockstars lived up to that. They were the new and improved band. But you wouldn't know it because over the years they have been constantly overshadowed by virtually anyone else, including the classics themselves. The group had a few appearances, but in every case, there has been something overshadowing them, whether it be collaborations, a lack of book appearances, or even merch. But why is this? Well, let's take a look. We will go through all the Rockstar animatronics right now, covering Pizzeria Simulator and Ultimate Custom Night. By which I mean mostly covering Ultimate Custom Night, as Pizzeria Simulator's Rockstars had virtually no differences despite their looks. And no, that is not an exaggeration, but we'll get to that. So let's start with Rockstar Freddy, the leader of the band, as most Freddys are. With rosy cheeks, a purple top hat and bow tie, and a yellow star on his chest, this snazzy Freddy is ready for the stage with his own microphone and a more colorful, more cartoony appearance. In Pizzeria Simulator, he gets 7 entertainment points and 1 liability risk point. It isn't until Ultimate Custom Night that we see his personality, and he's a swindler. Freddy asks for 5 coins.
Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins.
And he continues asking until you either pay up or he loses his patience and jump scares you. Or you trick him by turning up the heater and frying his circuits.
You are attempting to trick Freddy.
Freddy doesn't like this.
Here you are fighting for your life, and this joker's asking you for change for the vending machine. And don't let Freddy's automated-sounding voice fool you. He is aware of what he's doing. His ability to recognize that you're trying to get out of paying him proves that much. But why is he doing it? Why does he want these coins? Well, it's unclear. Maybe he wants to raid the prize counter. Maybe he's just a miser who values money more than its use. It's simply not said. He also pops up occasionally between attempts on the screen where you're given power-ups. Whether this is just a stand-in appearance or him giving you the power-ups is also unclear, largely because why would someone who's constantly wanting money suddenly be so generous? Maybe it's like a Moneybags from Spyro situation. Moneybags was a greedy bear who would keep doors, skills, and even characters locked behind a paywall, and only when you coughed up enough gems would he generously offer you whatever it was. Maybe that's what's going on here in a way, but sort of in reverse. Instead of asking for payment to get the perks, Rockstar Freddy is offering up perks under the anticipation that this will give you more chances to give him a cut. Okay, to be entirely honest, Rockstar Freddy is probably the weakest of the Rockstars personality-wise, so I'm doing a bit of heavy lifting here. But Rockstar Bonnie is a little more interesting. This blue bunny takes the Bonnie in a new direction by being a crooner, who goes so far as to sing to you after he kills you.
I found my guitar, now reach for the stars as I plunge it through your heart.
His audition description lists him as having like a Frank Sinatra-like voice, so there's the inspiration behind the choice. But Rockstar Bonnie is not there to entertain. He's looking for his guitar, and if you find it, great. You've done him a favor, and he'll leave you alone. If you don't, he'll find it himself, as he states in his lyrics, and hunt you down. And
now I'll make slivers out of you.
Yeah, seems a little more vindictive than the singing would lead you to assume. But then again, he will let you off the hook if you help him, so sadistic streak or not, desires to mutilate you or not, Rockstar Bonnie is a bunny with some semblance of respect to those who help him. Though like I said with Freddy, this is only an Ultimate Custom night. In Pizzeria Simulator, Rockstar Bonnie is virtually identical to Rockstar Freddy in everything but appearance, even down to the 7 entertainment and 1 liability. Now on to Rockstar Chica, big bird with a Let's Rock bib and a colorful pair of maracas, making this the first Chica to have her own instrument. This country-style chicken is a hothead with an appetite, who's more than ready to barge in on the office and, assumedly, from her wording, eat you. That's right, she's going to eat you, and not in the cute way.
I may not like wet floors, but the smell of fresh meat is just too enticing.
And there's only one thing in between her and her tasty, sweaty dinner. A wet floor sign. Rockstar Chica seems to be afraid of getting slipped up, so she will avoid the wet floor signs at all costs, and thus not walk past it. It's a deceptively easy trick to keep her away, but you have to keep up with her on the monitor, and don't think she's left just because you shut the door in her face. She will stick around unless the sign is there to deter her. The biggest thing about Rockstar Chica is her personality, as it's much more abrasive than those that came before her, or even after her, really.
That's right! And don't you come back now, you hear?
In Pizzeria Simulator, her stats are the same as the others. The final of the main 4 Rockstars is Rockstar Foxy, and he has some notable additions to him that classic Foxy was lacking. While he still has his hook, Rockstar Foxy also has more pirate accents, such as a parrot on his shoulder and a peg leg. He still has classic Foxy's eye patch, but unlike Foxy's that would flip up and reveal an eye underneath, this one is not built to do so, and it's unknown if he even has a second eye. But since he doesn't seem to have the mechanism to move the patch, I'd say he likely doesn't. He also plays the accordion, an instrument that is often associated with pirates. This makes him the first Foxy to have an instrument as well, and he's able to make it work with one hand by playing the keys with his hook. Clever. Rockstar Foxy's parrot is mounted to his shoulder on a metal post, but in Ultimate Custom Night it pulls itself free and will fly through the office. If you click on it, Rockstar Foxy will usually pop up and offer you a favor.
Yarg, how may I be of service to ya? Yar, what can I do for ya? Yar, me bird likes you, so I'll do ye a favor.
Sometimes he might sound a little more defensive of his parrot, but will still offer a favor.
Yar, who touched me bird?
But rarely, Foxy might randomly jump scare you instead, nonchalantly remarking about it before doing so.
Yar, you win some, you lose some. Yarg, you play with fire, and sometimes ye get burned.
That aside, Rockstar Foxy seems to be the one Rockstar of the group who is overtly friendly. He won't bother you at all if you don't touch the bird, and most of the time when you do, he will instead offer to help you out. It could be that these rare occurrences are simply out of his control, which might explain why he's so nonchalant. At lower levels, he's a mostly safe ally. At higher ones, it's really a gamble when deciding whether or not to summon him into the office. But again, you have to willingly offer him to come into the office. Interestingly enough, Rockstar Foxy has 8 points of entertainment as opposed to Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. This might suggest that he's the most popular. Nice to see some things never change. Or maybe kids just get a kick out of seeing him play drunken sailor with a hook, an accordion, and a bird that randomly flies around the room with a metal post sticking out of its butt. Now that's the main band, but like I said, there's 2 extra outliers. Lefte, also featured in Pizzeria Simulator, and Carnie, a brown bear. Well, Carnie, introduced as recently as Help Wanted 2. We'll start with Lefte. Lefte is virtually a recolor of Rockstar Freddy, with the only difference being his blinded eye, and perhaps the constant out-of-it look on his face. He's not necessarily creepy, he's not very cute, he's remarkably bland, which is shocking considering that he is not only one of the most important characters in Pizzeria Simulator, but is a major character in Five Nights at Freddy's, full stop. Though you wouldn't know that until the end of the game, when you are told this is the case. Spoiler alert, Lefte is the puppet. Henry Emily, the man who came up with this plan in this restaurant, read the Silver Eyes, the Twisted Ones, the Fourth Closet, and cross your fingers for further context, built Lefte to trap the puppet inside of, which is revealed in the same blueprints and a hidden ending. It's a long story, but the short of it in relation to the Rockstars boils down to this. He is a rockstar. He is literally Rockstar Freddy with a goofed eye. But compared to them, this lot of animatronics set up on stage who don't really have anything to do with the plot except they're there, He is an actual established part of the night, of the story, a piece of everything else. Lefte is a vital part of the plan, and the Rockstars are the facade. Now, I have spoken about Lefte at length, so I will try to keep this brief, as this would be yet again overshadowing the Rockstar animatronics with someone else. Lefte's name is short for lure, encapsulate, fuse, transport, and extract, which is exactly what he does to the puppet, horrifyingly enough. He makes shushing noises in Pizzeria Simulator, which is equally as horrifying if he does that to shush the puppet, God almighty. A cretin this devious would be a whopping 9 liability risk, though also has a 9 entertainment. Not sure why kids are so mesmerized by his janky movement, but who knows. If you buy him, he immediately becomes a threat, by the way. By day, he wobbles on stage. At night, he crawls through the vents towards your office, preparing to do you in. This carries over to Ultimate Custom Night, where Lefte is still shushing and still wandering into your office, though in this case, he both has more lines, and doesn't immediately come to your office, and is instead riled up by sound and heat, and then is lured into your office, during which the only way to calm him down is the global music box. His Pizzeria Simulator traits carry over into Help Wanted 2 again, as he crawls through the vents in his Helpy First Aid level, drawn in by noise and only drove away by silencing the noise and just staring him down. Again, there is plenty that could be said about Lefte, but I'd have a whole video's worth of it, and that's not what we're here to talk about. The real focus is on the Rockstars and how they often fall behind everyone else, and in this case, one of the else's is their own bandmate. Think about it. I have to be extremely detailed to explain the Rockstars in a satisfying way, while purposefully limiting Lefte just so we won't overtake their video. That sums up this situation. But this isn't exactly the same case in the other possible bandmate, Carnie. Largely because Carnie's connection to the band so far has only been established by him looking like Rockstar Freddy and Lefte. When he was built, who built him, why he was built, not in the basic to be a game tender, but in the greater scheme of for what reason, for what carnival or park, none of this is crystal clear. So to say that Carnie overshadowed the Rockstars is factually impossible. If anything, Carnie sort of reminded folks that they existed, or at least reminded them of Lefte. Carnie runs the Phaser Blast shooting booth in the titular minigame levels in Help Wanted 2, and does the usual carnival rigmarole by flip-flopping from heckling players to encouraging them to continue playing.
Step right up, test your skills and win a prize. You like darts, high-tech lasers? Ever dream of shooting a real-life sci-fi laser? Then you come to the right place. Phaser Blast has got it all. What's your name? Got your tongue? No need to answer. Don't matter, and I don't care. Get a load of this one, folks. Thinks that dart can trigger a light sensor. Water maroon.
This goes on for a series of levels until the whole thing goes up in flames. Fittingly, since it's based off of old Freddy pizzerias. It is in this moment that we realize how sentient Carnie is.
Oh, hold on! I'm on fire!
Up until this point, Carnie is very automated, but here he reacts to the fire and he feels the burn. But, on the other hand, after the place burns, you are hunted by a Springtrap-shaped target. Yes, another target. So who's to say this fire was on accident and is not just someone's twisted coding to present the story they want to tell? Meaning Carnie would still just be playing his role. I don't know, and it really doesn't matter since we probably won't ever know. What Carnie has to do with everything is pretty loosey-goosey, but his relation to the Rockstars ends at him being yet another recolored Rockstar Freddy, so take that as you will. Lefte is a Rockstar who's displaced from his bandmates, and Carnie looks like a Rockstar but exists in another plane of existence, and in both cases, not only do they not really benefit discussion around the Rockstars, but they garner much more attention. They stand in front of their brethren, but it's not exactly their fault, so what is it? What is the reason that the Rockstars themselves were so overlooked while having these possible connections? Because it's not like they require a story presence to be important. Characters like Funtime Freddy and Monty Gator are pretty popular, even though one is literally just a part of his band, and the other is the least explored glam rock. So, what gives? Rockstar Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, what was wrong with them? They're so colorful, both appearance-wise and in their later revealed personalities, so why is it that they are some of Fnaf's lesser acknowledged animatronics. Well, when we think of the most popular bands, it is due to either their personalities or perceived personalities. Sometimes their designs, and occasionally their gimmicks, but even those are molded into personifications that allows the player to become attached to the animatronics. That's why even before voice acting was implemented, people were still becoming very close with the animatronics. But the Rockstars didn't really have that, did they? Design-wise, they looked neat, maybe a little safe designs that resembled past animatronics but not too much and thus fall into the background. They lacked any real quirks. It wasn't until Ultimate Custom Night that they attempted to give them these quirky personalities, or any personality at all. But why did they have such little personality? Well, the same reason that the Rockstars Pizzeria Simulator blurbs only have stats and nothing else. They are the main band in Pizzeria Simulator, and yet they are not only not the band you encounter in the nights, but they are also not the band the story is focused around. They have no important lore or interesting interactions. And this leads to the true problem with the Rockstars, the real reason they're overlooked. In their first game, they were not animatronics. They were strictly decorations. Yeah, they're just props for your pizzeria. And they aren't even the most expensive or valuable props, just the ones awkwardly beneath that. So even in that case, they're overshadowed by Funtime Chica, Chipper, and Music Man. This was their one chance to be important, and even in that, they were knocked down a peg by someone else. It's not just that they aren't the main characters alone, it's the fact that from the moment of conception, the Rockstars, as much as you may like them, you have to admit it's true, were placeholders. The Rockstars were just a way to get Freddy and Friends mugs back on the title screen again, but once you click past that title, their importance fizzles out. And that first impression hit hard. Ultimate Custom Night can only do so much in salvaging this bunch, and it did a good job in making them a comical cast of fellas, but it didn't give them that bang that leads to a character becoming beloved, and because of that, they fade into the background. Now, the Rockstars aren't entirely forgotten. Rockstar Freddy appears on an arcade machine in Security Breach. He, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy appear on Bandmates and Help Wanted 2. Lefte appears in the same level as an actual threat, despite his up-in-the-air status as a true Rockstar. And Carnie, assumedly Lefte's secret twin brother Righty, who changed his name to avoid the authorities, is introduced here. So they are remembered, just not well. At least not by the general audience. They have fans, of course, but it's a lopsided number compared to those before or even after them. But did they deserve better? I'm not entirely sure, actually. If their characterization on Ultimate Custom Night wasn't just a one-time joke to fill slots and was the original intention, then sure, maybe. You've got the extortionist, the sadist, the cannibal, a really chill Foxy, and their cousin Walking Impreg, and their distant cousin Uncle Chuck the rodeo clown. They would have been the goofiest bunch for certain, with Freddy and Bonnie threatening physical violence to be paid off to be helped, Chica being so much more rough and tumble, and Foxy being friendly, perhaps a reflection to show how folks used to think classic Foxy might be the nice one. I could have seen these characters getting at least something of a following, considering how well the glam rocks took off, with some even having less than that. But that would have required a little more attention and some more to do. Unfortunately, the timing wasn't right, and now it's almost too late to fix this. Will they be back? Probably. Will they be the stars they weren't able to be in their own game? I'm not so sure. It would take an amount of work to reintroduce and recharacterize this band, and I'm not sure if it's too late for that or not. Especially since now they would be old news, not fresh faces. But crazier things have happened. Such as this, and this. So who knows? For now, they're Freddy's least important band. But at least they aren't overshadowed in that regard, right? Thank you for watching.